everybody's kind of going off on like, why don't men read in culture? And Maureen Dowd wrote this in the New York Times, which is going to be painful. We're going to go through it. The entire book publishing industry is anti-male at this point. If you don't know, it's New York Publishing is a bunch of angry white women who are liberal, who are trying to push this like DEI agenda into everything. Who are trying to push LGBTQ themes into everything. And men are not welcome. In fact, if you're a white male at this point, they don't even look at your manuscripts, these agents. They just go, no, because they don't want that. They don't want anything on that. We've covered people talking about that before. Big mainstream authors talking about how they've heard that white males can't even get agents to look at their manuscripts. I've covered another guy in fantasy who, because his culture felt kind of Indian, was not allowed to write it and not allowed to be published by an agent, even though she said it was a great book, because she didn't want a white person culturally appropriating in a fantasy culture, of course, right? It's not even real. And so this is where we're at these days. And so you walk into a bookstore and you're at the point, I've got an 11-year-old boy and I'm like trying to find a book for him to read or whatever. And I just like, I walk into the YA section and it's just, black disabled lesbian girl determines she's actually a man. And I'm like, I'm not buying this for my child and having him read this. It's crazy. There's nothing else out there. And there's nothing for boys in that market at all. And it's interesting. So some people this month have started Men's Books Awareness Month as a counter of this. Jaji Lamplighter, who does a great job, actually started posting about it. And I've actually got a book on sale for this commemoration of this. It's called Colony Launch. And as we get into this article and talk about just like how bad the book industry is and how this is a gaslighting situation towards men who want to read, this is a great book. You're going to really enjoy this. So if you like Robert Heinlein, like the stuff back in the day where sci-fi was kind of an optimistic, reaching for the stars, and that's what this is, Colony Launch, it is launching a colony, and having to deal with government red tape as, they give them stipulations which are very, very hard to live with as part of their ability to go out there. It ends up being pretty complicated. So it's a lot of fun. Standalone novel. It is in my Arishan War universe, which is expanding all the time. So I've got a lot of books in that universe for you to peruse if you like it. And it's only 99 cents right now, which is a great deal. So grab this 99 cents. If you have an Audible credit, it's first of the month-ish, grab that. It's in the description below and start reading today. All these books are on audio. They're all on ebook. They're all print editions, whatever you like. We have it for you whatever way you like to read. So thank you, men, for reading, and thank you for getting this going and checking things out. Women will love this book too. There's a lot to it. So no matter who you are, I try to make sure it's good for as many people as possible, which is what the mainstream industry does not do. They have one demographic only they want to appeal to: middle-aged white women, and that's it. So attention, men, books are sexy, says Maureen Dowd. Now, Maureen Dowd's a nightmare. If you don't know who she is, of course, one of the worst woke columnists out there. And listen to this. It was one of the most erotic things I ever heard. A man I know said he was reading all the novels of Jane Austen in one summer. So what the heck? Why would the New York Times publish this? This is embarrassing, right? And so, by the way, it's not just reading. They don't want you to just read. They want you to read their smutty romance novels, too. Now, Jane Austen has talent, but everything that's, trickled from Jane Austen, as women have tried to copy this over the years, has become more and more degenerate, and that's what's being read. It's almost every book in a bookstore at this point is some glorified pornography for women. It's called, like, the biggest stuff out there right now is called the romantasy genre, and the biggest authors are Rebecca Yarros and Sarah J. Maas, and those women just put in these nasty scenarios where it's like a man's kind of like abusing this chick, and then she just gets raw dogged by him or whatever. And then the end, right? It's really that much. It's crazy, and this is exactly what they're trying to push on women. This is why women are getting weirder at this point, because they're reading these creepy fantasies all the time, and they're like, "I want men to read this," and it's like, well, no, yeah, men are not reading because that's all that you have in stores, and so there are men who are reading. They're going to different places at this point, and I have a large readership. So, but they don't want that sort of thing. At first, I thought he was pretending to like things women to seem simpatico, a feminist hustle. No, this guy really wanted to read Northanger Abbey. Oh, my gosh. Men are reading less. Women make up 80% of fiction sales. Yeah, because it's 80% of the authors that are out there, or 90%. And, like, that's all they're doing. It's like, why would they? But listen to how they do this. Young men have regressed educationally, emotionally, and culturally. Not really. This is what's crazy. It's just they've rejected your regression of cultural stuff that's being put out there. This romantasy stuff is not something that's educational. It's not good for you. It doesn't do anything. The disappearance of literary men should worry everyone. Well, yeah, I mean, they don't get published in the mainstream industry. You're blacklisted if you're a man who's a white male at this point. My ideas are deemed too scary for the industry. It's crazy because these dummies, if they really wanted to do this, like, I'm selling over 1,000 books a month just talking on YouTube about things, right? Well, okay, so I'm doing this with my back catalog. So why hasn't one of these agents or literary houses come up and been like, okay, you're doing this on your own. We've got a marketing budget. We can compound this like 15x really fast. Let's work on something together. You'd think. But they don't want that. They want romantasy. They want the men to read these feminist female books and to clap for them like little monkeys so that these women can feel better. The fiction gap makes me sad. A man staring into a phone is not sexy, but a man with a book has become so rare, such an object of fantasy. There's a popular Instagram account called Hot Dudes Reading. So this is just about a woman having a porn fantasy. Like, you see what this is here? This is what Maureen Dowd's doing in the New York Times, is having her little fetish fantasy in the New York Times here. Crazy. So she's talking about different men and books here. Very weird. Is this woman married? Hold on. Maureen Dowd married. Is she? Let's see. Nope, she's single, of course. Of course she is. So, 1952, she's single. And good luck with that, 73-year-old Maureen Dowd at this juncture. Maybe there's a reason for it, right? So she's talking about interviewing these things in bookcases. Jane Austen. Jane Austen, as she keeps talking about. And then she's interviewed a bunch of these dudes. So this is what she's talking about. This is President Trump projects a crude, bombastic image of masculinity. So, look at how all over the map this article is. Men should read more. I wish they'd be into Jane Austen. And yeah, that's sexy, man. Like, sexy Instagram account, men reading. President Trump, crude, bombastic. It's like, holy crap. This is not good journalism. This isn't good writing. And this is what the New York Times is publishing at this point. It's pretty wild. It's just all over the map, this woman just like ranting like a blog about what she wants as her like fetish fantasy for a date, I guess. And that's it. There's not much to this. A couple years ago, I wrote how getting a master's in English literature from Columbia underscored for me what we need, humanities, even more when technology is stripping of us of our humanity. Works like Frankenstein, Paradise Lost shed the light on narcissism. This is, again, therapy speak that clearly, like, this is just a woman doing this. Powerful male tech geniuses birthing a world-shattering new species, AI. After that, a New Yorker named Paul Bergman emailed me an invitation to his book club. All men, lawyers, and a judge who had gotten to know one another. You're going to ruin your space if you're putting this lady in there. But my gosh. So, very weird. Men aren't reading stuff in the bookstores because it's just not for them. It is terrible. It is all geared towards one demographic. Unless the mainstream publishing industry gets it, they can whine all they want, but men aren't going to read that crap. They're going to read Colony Launch, my friends. And this is a wonderful science fiction. Like I said, it's about launching a colony. It's Heinleinian stuff. You're going to enjoy it. It's in the description below. This is for you, my friends, and thank you for being here. Thank you for reading. And let's just make this culture great again outside of their little ecosystem. We don't need their bookstores. We don't need their New York Times columns. That's all old pub. It's dead. They're dying, and they're lamenting the fact that they're dying because they know it. Because there's nobody going to be picking up this torch for their weird DEI programs in published fiction. Nobody wants to read that crap. Is what it comes down to. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for being here. This is available on ebook, print, and audio. And if you want to check out all my books, they're all here. The whole Eurasian War series, really beautiful stuff. It builds up nicely with some great characters, great world building. You're going to enjoy it if you like science fiction. And I got some other stuff, too, if you want to peruse. Thanks for being here. We'll be back.